It's time to talk about the best moments in all of Stranger Things. What's going on, guys? I'm Chris, and welcome back to another video. So today I am going through my favorite moments from every season of Stranger Things, or what I view as the best Stranger Things moments of all time. I've compiled a list of 25 with 10 honorable mentions, and to be honest with you, there are plenty of other moments I could have included, and probably some of my favorites that honestly I just forgot to even mention, just because this is my favorite show of all time, it goes without saying, and so I think every episode has a highly memorable moment. But before I get into this and share my favorite moments from the show, let me know yours in the comments down below. What do you think the best moment in the entire show is? And of course, hit that like button, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to be notified for my future videos. And if you want extra content from the world of Stranger Things and beyond, as I have some fun reaction content coming over there soon, Patreon is the place to be. You won't want to miss out on what's to come. But I say we just go ahead and dive right into my favorite moments, or the best moments from this show. I have 10 honorable mentions that I'm not going to spend any time talking about. I'm just going to speed around, rattle them off real quick. So the honorable mentions that just barely missed the cut are Will being found by Joyce and Hopper in the season 1 finale, the Lumax reunion from season 5, the Demogorgon attacking the Wheeler house in the cold open of season 5 episode 2, where Karen and Ted get attacked, Mike and Hopper's bench talk in the epilogue, the 8:15 moment at the end of season 2 episode 1 where Hopper is revealed to have Elle at his cabin, Steve versus the Demodogs in the junkyard from season 2, Max's return in season 5 episode 3, Elle defeating the Demogorgon at the end of season 1, Billy's sacrifice in season 3, and Will getting taken by a Demogorgon in the opening of the show. I mean, just sitting here rattling those off, those are all-time moments, but I have 25 that I view as the best moments of the show that I'm going to get down to business with right now. At number 25, kickstarting this list, is going to be Eddie and Max's death scenes in season 4's finale when the song When It's Cold I'd Like to Die plays. This is a very tragic moment, but to me one of the most emotionally moving. You get the great performances of Joseph Quinn and Gaten Matarazzo as Eddie dies in Dustin's arms, and at the same time you've got Lucas holding Max in his arms as she dies as well. All 4 performances from Caleb and Sadie, as well as Joseph and Gaten, are out of this world. The music being a callback to the moment Will gets rescued just hits you right in the feels, and this is one of the darkest moments in the show as we lose 2 characters. Now, one of them does come back, but still, it's a heavy scene and easily one of the most emotionally impactful and moving in the entire show. At number 24 on my list, I have Elle's sacrifice when Purple Rain plays and we get the Malevolent montage in the season 5 finale. Choose to believe whether or not Elle survived or not, that's fully up to you. I like to believe she is out there, but at the same time, there's a lot more evidence suggesting that she actually did die and make this sacrifice play, so she has these tragic final moments with Mike as the two of them sort of reminisce on their history and their relationship. We get the iconic Purple Rain needle drop. How could you not be emotionally moved by this scene, right? It sort of recaps their entire relationship, which in many ways has been the heart of a lot of the show, and they have to say goodbye here. It parallels the moment in which Eleven makes the sacrifice at the end of season 1. She says goodbye Mike there, and her final words here are goodbye Mike yet again.
Goodbye Mike. Goodbye Mike.
It's closure. We're closing the chapter on that story, but in the moment, we also get to see every other character's reaction to Elle dying, including Hopper, so this is just devastating, but the needle drop is so moving, and it's such a powerful scene that I think it had to make the cut. At number 23 on my list, I've got the "you effed with the wrong family" moment from season 5. This, of course, is where every main character is circled around Vecna as Joyce Byers chops his head off. We kind of cut to every character as they have a flashback of memories associated with Vecna or the Upside Down, and basically all the trauma, as in this moment they're kind of able to alleviate that and free themselves of these demons as they're watching the person responsible get chopped up. It's a really cool, badass moment, and it felt like Joyce was able to go full-on Ripley here from Aliens, which I was a fan of. At number 22 on my list, I've got the van flip from season 1. One of the truly iconic moments from the first season when all the kids are riding their bikes through the neighborhood and they're being chased by Brenner's dudes and these Hawkins lab workers, and Eleven flips this van. It is one of those moments where your jaw just kind of drops in season 1. You're like, okay, this is something special. And there are multiple moments before that in season 1 where you're like, okay, this show's special, but that's when you're like, okay, it's built different. It felt very E.T., very classic. It really does kind of parallel, in my opinion, the moment when Elliot and company take flight in the 3rd act of E.T. It's very much an homage to that, in my opinion, as Elle flips this van and they're all able to escape. It is classic Stranger Things. At number 21 on my list, I've got Steve's bat flip from season 1. This is like the birth of the Steve Harrington we know and love, right? He runs back into the Byers house after the trap has been sprung, and he swings at this Demogorgon. He comes back, he has a heroic moment, and the whole entire Byers house sequence with Jonathan, Nancy, and Steve is kind of what I'm referring to here. It's kind of wrapped up in this all-encompassing moment of Steve's bat flip like he's a freaking Jedi rolling up in there. Still gives me chills, gives me goosebumps when I see him. Like, yeah, that does something to me. That bat flip, yeah.
His finger looking good.
At number 20 on my list, I've got when Will takes over Vecna in season 5 and yells, "Run!" We saw this moment months before the season actually premiered. It was one of the leaked video audios from set of Will Byers yelling, "Run!" We had no clue the context. Well, now we've seen the moment, and he's actually tapping into the hive mind to briefly take over Vecna in order to free Max and Holly from his grip. It is so freaking cool. It was just such a unique concept. Seeing it pulled off, I was just like, this is sick. They Frankensteined a demo in order for Will to tap into the hive mind. It was one of my standout moments from season 5, and the aftermath of it too, where Henry is yelling like, "Get out," and he kicks Will out of his own mind. It was just fresh and unlike anything we'd really seen with the exploration of the hive mind up to this point in the show. Now, at number 19 on my list, I've got when Hopper and Elle reunite at the end of season 4. This is huge for me because I'm a big 11 Hopper fan, Elle Hopper, if you will. That father-daughter bond, I mean, carries a lot of weight to me and truly hits me in the feels various times throughout this show. In season 2 and 3, I think they're at their best, but in season 4, we finally get to see them share a scene at the very end of the season, and it's when they both kind of share this emotional embrace. 11's crying. She's like, "I left the door open 3 inches." One hell of a callback and a scene that really does get the waterworks going for me. It is such a sweet, sentimental reunion. At number 18 on my list, I've got the sauna test showdown from season 3. What a way to end the mid-season episode as we see 11 facing off against Billy. Dacre brings it with his performance as he even drops an F-bomb here. It's kind of one of the forgotten cuss words in Stranger Things. But our party's working together, Max and Elle included, and it's this showdown that sets the stage for the back half of the season. It's highly intense, well-directed, and it's one of the standout moments in the entirety of season 3, in my opinion. Number 17 on my list is going to be the final moments of season 4 as our characters are hillside staring out into Hawkins as the upside down bleeds into the right side up. The operatic score for the main theme of Stranger Things playing here is an adrenaline-inducing listen. Like, if you ever put that on, you have to find it on YouTube because it's not on Spotify for some stupid reason. It will get you going. If you need to be motivated in life, look up that track right now and you will start to float. It is incredible music that really does end this season on the highest of highs, so much so that I do understand why some people were disappointed with season 5, because season 4 set this incredibly high standard. And it was almost unrealistic for it to surpass season 4 because of how truly awesome that ending is. As all of our characters stand out there, the scale of season 5 is set, and it really does set the tone and the stakes for the epic final season. Those moments that we just had to sit with for nearly 3.5, 4 years, I mean, we just dwelled on them. That's how you end a season of TV right there. At number 16 on my list, I've got when Elle closes the gate in the end of season 2, seeing her and Hopper again team up to go down there as Hopper's shooting off demodogs and 11 is exerting all of her force to close this gate and bring the season to a close. It's badass. It's one of Elle's best moments and really does further show how powerful she really is. But just the fact that Hopper and Elle are there together side by side as father and daughter, and Elle floating as she does it and her nose bleeds, she looks bitchin', dare I say. At number 15, I've got when Billy talks to Elle in season 3, episode 6, E Pluribus Unum, as the operatic music plays. This scene's very intense, especially when you watch season 3 for the first time, but with the added context of what's to come and knowing this is essentially Vecna speaking through Billy, it hits completely different, and it's one of those moments that's been recontextualized for the better on rewatch. I can't get enough of this scene. It's one of my favorites in the 3rd season. I just love the way the music eerily builds up. Like, there's this sense of terror in the air, and Dacre's performance as he's just not blinking, slowly sort of walking 11 into a corner. It's haunting stuff, and it shows how terrifying Vecna would ultimately be when we saw him in season 4. At number 14, I've got the end of season 4, episode 8, when all of our characters are in the RV and the Separate Ways remix plays. This moment is basically a trailer for the finale and couldn't have set the stage for that cinematic event any better. It's one of my favorite needle drops in all of Stranger Things as our characters pull up to the Creel house, Max, Erica, and Lucas get out, and they're ready for one final mission in this season. The stakes are high as hell, and that needle drop with all the characters, there's like lens flares in multiple shots, characters gripping their weapons, they have their game faces on. That is how you set up a finale. At number 13, I've got the scene from season 3 where Robin comes out to Steve in the bathroom bathroom stall. This to me holds up as one of the best written scenes in the entire show, as Robin fully opens up to Steve, and without missing a beat, he immediately accepts her. They have a great laugh, and it shows their bond is now the strongest it's ever been. They become best friends, basically moving forward from this moment, and I just really appreciate the love Steve has in his heart for Robin, and how he so immediately creates this safe space for her. I thought the scene was just so well written. The score, it's got this nostalgic hint to it where I just, again, almost feel like I'm in shambles internally in a good way. Like when I hear it, I get so nostalgic inside, it hurts my stomach almost. I feel that way with a lot of Kyle Dixon and Michael Stein's tracks because I think they're just legends when it comes to composing this show. But that scene, man, it still holds up to me. The way it's all played out and just their friendship in that moment, it almost makes you tear up. It's such a thing of beauty. But next up on my list at number 12, I've got when Will channels Vecna's powers in Sorcerer. This was a shocking, big swing from the Duffer Brothers, and to me, it really landed. It took the internet by storm. It gave one of the OG characters powers in a way we really never thought we would see, right? We had theorized, oh, Will might have powers. He might have the ability to cast Fireball. But no, they took it to a whole nother level where he can basically take over Vecna's powers for a second. Very cool stuff. I did not expect this. I was shocked. I had to sort of sit there and process it for like 20 to 30 minutes after it happened. But ultimately, after rewatching it a bunch and marinating on it, it works. They teed it up multiple times in Volume 1 leading up to that epic moment, and it really does play out as like one of the badass moments of Season 5. Next up on my list at number 11, I've got 11 versus the Mind Flayer and Vecna from Season 5. The shot of Elle's showdown against the Mind Flayer is truly art, and when she jumps up and she just looks like this tiny little ant compared to this massive being, I was like, let's go, it's go time. Then she rips the thing open and she has this showdown with Vecna. That whole fight is about as epic as it gets. It delivered for me in terms of these awesome final battles in Stranger Things, and I just was like, this is what we've been waiting for. We finally got to see it. Vecna v. Elle, and of course the Mind Flayer in a physical, natural form, imposing this threat as the rest of our characters are inflicting damage on the hive mind. I just think that it is one of the coolest shots the show's given us by far, and that moment is hype as hell. Now we're getting into my top 10, and before I do, hit that like button and be sure to follow me on Instagram for some exclusive content that doesn't make it to my other social media platforms. And at number 10, I've got the snowball to end Season 2. I just think this is such a sweet way to end this season with the epilogue, as we have some great needle drops. Of course, Every Breath You Take is probably my favorite of the bunch, but I just really appreciate how this gives us some 11 moments. We get to see Dustin with Nancy, Lou Max share a kiss here. It's just like a happy ending, and again, one of those nostalgic classic scenes that ties a bow on Season 2 wonderfully, and to me, probably could have served as the end of the show. I have to tip my hat to Stranger Things because I think every single season finale, outside of Season 4, I'll say, probably could have served as the end of the show, and the snowball is one of the best of the bunch. At number 9 on my list, I have Master of Puppets. This, of course, is when Eddie shreds the guitar in the Upside Down, playing Master of Puppets as a part of their plan. It, of course, creates a diversion, luring the Demobats over to him and Dustin, and it's for Chrissy. This is about as cool as it gets as Master of Puppets is playing, and we see everyone enacting different parts of their plans. We knew that Eddie was going to be playing the guitar at some point based on the trailers, but it delivered in badass fashion. Most metal ever, dare I say.
Most metal ever!
At number 8 on my list, I've got a Season 1 moment, of course, this being when Elle pulls up at the quarry and saves the day. She's our friend and she's crazy. It's one of those iconic Stranger Things moments from the early goings that gives us a shot that is literally the first shot we see when the credits play in the series finale. It's when 11, Dustin, and Mike share an embrace. It's powerful stuff. And when Elle shows up with the score kicking in the background, this is when everyone was collectively like, okay, this girl is badass, and she truly delivered one of the best moments of the show. And then Dustin kind of just teasing the bullies as they sprint away makes the whole thing just so classic vintage Stranger Things. It had to be pretty high on this list. Next up for me at number 7 is going to be an 11 moment yet again. It's when she pulls up at the Byers house at the end of the penultimate episode of Season 2. This is where we get to see all of our characters in the Byers house, right? We just came off the moment where they use Morse code to decode the message, close gate, and then they think the demos are coming to the house, and frankly they are, but 11's also coming there, and she saves the day, launching a demo dog into the window and ultimately walking in the front door as all of our characters look on in awe. 11 is back. She's maybe better than ever, and this moment just shines to me as a great way to build momentum heading into the finale, and it is easily one of 11's most memorable scenes in the entire show, where she kind of just has everyone going, yep, I'm on my feet clapping for this one. Round of applause for 11, ladies and gentlemen. At number 6, I have the Massacre at Hawkins' Lab reveal scene with Henry and 11, where we ultimately discover that Henry Creel is also one and also Vecna, and this is where 11 launches him through a gate into the abyss. It's really cool stuff, and it's the culmination of this entire entire reveal, this revelation that changed the show as we know it. From this moment on, we watched Stranger Things through a completely different lens as we understood who was kind of pulling the strings all along behind the scenes. It was a masterfully executed twist, and Jamie Campbell Bower's monologue still gives me chills to this day. Eleven's no is a great moment as well, and all around it is one of those moments in Stranger Things history that you remember where you were when you first watched it because it changed the game for this show. Getting into my top 5 now, at number 5 I do have the final scene in the show, the last campaign with our OG party and Max. Of course, 11 is not there. This is where Mike tells stories, right? He tells the story of how 11 could be out there, and if you choose to believe, she has a peaceful, happy ending. I adored this scene, and I thought it was just a great way to close the show. It kind of bookends the show because the first time we see the OG party, they're playing D&D in the Wheeler basement, and the last time we see them, they're doing the same. But this time, they all walk away one by one, knowing this is probably the last time for a long time they're all going to be together as they're going their separate ways in life. And so in a sense, they are saying goodbye to childhood and closing the door on this chapter of life, walking out into adulthood, but they will always have these memories. Again, they'll always have this story to tell. They'll always be able to believe. And Holly and everyone coming down as Mike kind of looks on at them is a moment where it's like, okay, there's still going to be another party. There's always going to be another adventure. It's a passing of the torch in a sense. I thought this was beautiful closure for every character and a great way to bring the series to a close. I had always envisioned the show ending with D&D, and sure as hell it did. And then we got the awesome credit sequence. But yeah, that moment to me is my favorite in season 5. And I'll say it, I think it's a perfect final scene for Stranger Things. At number 4, I have the Running Up That Hill epic remix moment from season 4. This is, of course, where Hopper fights a Demogorgon. That scene I still will watch on YouTube from time to time if I need a pick-me-up. Hopper slicing up a Demogorgon, ultimately beheading it. As you guys can see right here in my background, I have some artwork of that. And then you got Robin, Steve launching Molotov cocktails at Vecna, Nancy walking down Wheeler, lighting him up with a shotgun. It's about as epic as it gets when it comes to this show, and the soundtrack really elevates it. This is like one of the most badass moments in all of Stranger Things that will have you on your feet. It is special stuff and is in my top 4 for a reason. At number 3, I've got when Will's fake body is found with Heroes playing. This is in the 3rd episode of the entire show, Holly Jolly. And to me, I've always said, right, this moment is what really sold me on Stranger Things. It's the first moment in the show where it's kind of like, whoa, this is something else. And you kind of have an out-of-body experience as Peter Gabriel's rendition of Heroes kicks in. I'm like, this is out of this world. Will's body is found, or so you think. There's a shot of Hopper with like cold breath coming out of his mouth as he looks defeated. The kids are all having to accept they just found their friend, and Mike's grieving. And then you got Joyce running out of her house, embracing Jonathan in this beautiful shot on a road where they're illuminated by headlights, and way off in the background in the distance you can see headlights of cops and the flashing blue lights coming over the hill as this music crescendos. Like, it is cinema. Truly one of the best filmmaking moments in all of Stranger Things, and to me, still, after all these years, after all these moments, one of the top tier moments in Stranger Things. But at number 2, my runner-up on my list is going to be when 11 reads Hopper's letter at the end of season 3. I've said many times, this is my favorite quote in the entire show. His letter basically about change and how it can be scary, but moving on in life and getting out of that cave, it's so applicable to just daily life. Change always scares me. It's hard for me. It's truly like the biggest obstacle in my life is change. I hate it. I don't like adjusting to new things, but this letter kind of reminds me that it's a natural part of life, and sometimes you gotta fight, you gotta keep pushing. It's a beautiful letter and a way to remember Hopper's legacy in that moment. Obviously, he did not stay dead, but to me, the letter still hits just as hard. And the fact that we see Elle just crying, weeping as she reads it strengthens that father-daughter relationship and shows they're maybe one of the best duos in the entire series. They're like top 5 easily. The music that plays in the background as it swells too, it gets the waterworks going. To me, this is the most powerful scene in Stranger Things, but the best scene, the most iconic, memorable moment that I would choose as the moment to sell someone on Stranger Things has to be Max running up that hill from Dear Billy. That is the number 1 moment in Stranger Things for me, the best moment in the show. This, of course, is when Max evades Vecna. Running Up That Hill is playing as her body is floating above in the cemetery, and she just barely beats the buzzer and is able to reunite with Lucas. It is thrilling, exhilarating. I was holding my breath watching it. I was on my feet screaming at the TV. Like, this was the moment for me where I'm like, this is the show. I think this is the best executed scene in all of Stranger Things. It's the most iconic moment. I mean, it's one that they literally remade in season 5 with Escape from Camazotz on like a smaller scale because they knew we had to reference it again. To me, it's the one that like will stand the test of time in pop culture history. 20 years from now, it'll be the one that people still call back to, and Running Up That Hill as a song has sort of had this resurgence because of this moment. It is the moment from season 4. I think it's the moment of the show. And if someone came up to me and said, hey, I'll watch Stranger Things, but you have to sell me on it with one scene or one moment, I'm picking this one without a doubt. But that's what I deem to be the best moments in all of Stranger Things. Let me know in the comments down below your best moments or favorite moments from the show. And of course, hit that like button, subscribe to that notification bell, and be on the lookout for more videos coming very soon. But thank you guys, as always, for watching. And until next time, I'll see you on the other side of the Upside Down.